Well, hello, community, creatives, kind folks. Today, on this day, as we continue our travel through the planes of existence here in Planescape, we again are down in the lower regions, and this is going to be a tough one. Yet again, man, the lower planes are horrible places to be. And today, when on this day, as our player characters visit Cursed, CURST, as they visit Cursed, maybe deporting or getting off of the train in the city of Cursed or gate town of Cursed. They realize that they've just gotten off and entered into a prison. So today we're going to talk about the gate town of Cursed and its ability, um, how it's situated on the outskirts of the plane known as Carceri, which is between the abyss and it's between now I almost forgot. It's situated between the abyss and the gray wastes of Hades. It's not quite neutral evil. It's not chaotic evil, but it's just as bad. So today, of course, this was actually mentioned the other day about this being the day of series, and it still is. Uh, but I would like us to, because I'm a huge fan of Planescape and all that it embraces. I love the idea of creating the physical manifestation of the alignment system itself. And we can disagree maybe in how it's portrayed, but I love the creativity in it. That's why I think a lot of people have embraced Planescape. And let's be honest, instead of having a 45-minute discussion argument about what alignment means for every one of us. Instead, why don't we just play in the game itself and have some fun? So, um, uh, Roaring step. Oh, sounds like a. Is that maybe it's a bot or something? Anyway, guys, anyone who's able to take part in the show is a co-host essentially, and we all just feed off of each other. And the reason why this is happening is because along with the original second edition Planescape and all that it encompasses, WotC Wizards of the Coast has just released a boxed set, um, uh, a box set of, I would say, an addendum to the Planescape world, which is very complicated. And while the information isn't dense, I feel like it's very, very. It gives me sparks of creativity, which I really love. Let's see. And absolutely agree that. And so now we move from chaos with a little evil to absolute punishment. Yes, for those who don't know, the plane of chaotic and neutral evil kind of sits in between the two. Is a prison. It's just basically a giant prison, and the only way to escape it, maybe, is to just delve deeper into that prison, and then unfortunately you just get dropped into another world that's essentially just another prison. And the only way to go, you can't go up, you got to go keep traveling further down into it. And it's pretty horrible. I mean, if the Greek gods were able to imprison the Titans in the Tarterian depths of Carceri, then yeah, maybe not a good chance that a PC is going to get out. Garth says this is one of the planes. This is one of the planes or gate towns in my 6 years of the Strange and Cipher system. Oh, you're using that. Okay. Game set in a version of Planescape is most concerned with and secretly controlled by the Harmonium. Excited here. Yeah. Haven't gone into the factions, but there are factions within Planescape that even make this even more interesting, where the factions are a belief system in the denizens of the entire multiverse in how they are able to navigate the worlds of Planescape. Some factions believe that everyone's dead already, and better to move on in this strange afterlife than to allow it to exist. Some feel like it's just turning into entropy, and that all the dimensions are going to collapse into one. Others are hedonistic. There are ones who want to impose law and order amongst the chaos of the planes of existence, and so on and so forth. Somebody's trying to. It sounds like a bot or something. Shai says, "Would you say that Carceri or Tartarus might be even closer to our idea of hell than Beator or the Nine Hells?" For those who don't know, that some of the names have been changed a bit, especially during the 3 to 4th edition era, and a little bit of this also had to deal with. Um, it was on the tail edge of the Satanic Panic, and so some of the names of like the fiends, like demons and devils, were removed, and then it became Eugaliths and Hezbatu, and they came some names. So if you see those, that was just a transitional phase, and also Tartarus is quite specific to like the Greek gods, and they wanted to make something a little bit more universal, so that came about as well. So sometimes, so some of the naming, you're like, wait a minute, I recognize that, and then it's like, wait, I don't recognize that. Hey, Mike, what's going on there? Yeah. Oh, new job has new hours. Hey, what's going on? So, so would I say that Tartarus, or and I'm calling it Kasari, it could be Cesari as well, or Sakari, Sa- Sarkari? I don't know. Might be even closer to the idea of hell than Beator. Um, I would think, my opinion is that Tartarus is more of a prison, of an external prison, and I look at the Nine Hells as being more um, internal. That it creates a condition that basically, if you go to the Nine Hells, that you're going to suffer because of who you are and what you are. Whereas I feel like Kasari or Tartarus is more like, no, there's actual physical walls on the outside, and it breeds like resentment, and I'm going to get out of here. I think the Nine Hells, I don't think you're even thinking about getting out. I think you're just going to suffer. It's sorry you're there, but whatever, you're just going to be dead. Yep. Mm-mm. Vince, oh hey Vince, what's going on? Okay, all right. So fight strikes is my sole disagreement. Okay, if you're a huge fan of Planescape, why are you even recognizing the existence of the blasphemous later editions? I agree with that. Yeah, second edition did it all, and they only effed it up from there. Yeah, that's a burn, but I can't disagree with that. I feel like the it feels like the people who participated in designing this new 5th edition were fans of the 2nd edition, had very little space to work with, word count, um, production value, that kind of thing. The artwork is good. The the way it's laid out is presented as well. But I feel like this is Planescape 101, and you really want to move up to the higher level classes, which isn't bad though, right? I mean, they're making money on it, and the original books are out there for free. Really, if you think about it. Yep. All right, so where are we at? So Tartarus, the Hotel California, yeah. Mike says, imagine a plains ruled politically by a parliament of the plains. Representatives of each plane reside in sigil, to resolve finer points of universal balance. And for those who don't understand this, it's not just the cosmic wheel of all the alignments and um, the planes that exist, but within the plane of neutrality, concordant opposition, a fragment of every one of the planes exists there as well, and that's where the city of CURST comes along. So I didn't just make that up. That's actually a gate town, and these gate towns allow the players and other denizens of the multiverse to. It's a physical representation of the ability to go into those places. So of course we want to talk about Cursed. Cursed, of course, has the gate destination to what is known as the Tarterian depths of Carceri. The primary citizens are exiled humanoids, and there's actually a ruler of Cursed. Now, Cursed is a menagerie of exiles and outcasts, a bit similar to Pandemonium we talked about the other day. Fugitives, traitors, and runaways trade one punishment for another in a poisonous town, a dismal burg chained to the prison plane of Kasari. Betrayers and backstabbers ruminate on their past in captivating in captivity, agonizing over their mistakes or counting down the days until they can exact revenge on those who wrong them. Cracked, dried up soil pervades the town and its rusted structures, rising as clouds of dust with every step. And so you absolutely positively get the idea that this isn't really a gate town. It's more like, oh, I showed up in town, and then you look around and realize like there's barbed wired walls all around you. And unfortunately, this would be an introduction for your players, especially if since we're doing the day of. Um, it introduces the idea that the very nature of the planes has a law to it, much like we would say if we went to another dimension that gravity works differently or time works differently, space. So too do the rules of the alignment system has a physical effect in the world, a mechanical effect. And here on the city that's not even within that region, within that the dimension of Tartarus, the rules are here in this gate town. There's something known as ball and chain as a regional effect. Creatures in Cursed feel as though they're dragging a ball and chain behind themselves and have their speed reduced by 5 feet. Seems a little bit minor, but I like the psychological concept of it, that like when there's no noise or something, the PCs keep hearing this chain and they look down and they sometimes they might see a literal ball and chain attached to your ankle, and then they blink and it's gone, but it's still there. Um, and a second portion of the regional effect is creatures can't leave Cursed using teleportation or by extra dimensional or interplanar means other than the town's gate to Carceri. Any attempt to do so is wasted. So the minute you get here, all that extra dimensional traveling, teleportation, misty stepping, and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't work. And which means the players need to be very creative. And Planescape itself can be pretty punishing if you don't have players with an open mind and embrace the challenge of not having access to a lot of their really cool capabilities. But the most important thing about describing all of this is what stories can we tell? Like, why are they here? So let me get to our co-host here, and then we'll move on. Mike says imprisonment in limbo would be horrific. You couldn't trust what you see or feel, and would never know if your sanity is holding. Oh, we're gonna get the limbo and the rest of that stuff too. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. You're so silly here, Vince. I just need a spoon, a sexy poster, and time to break out. Yeah, go ahead and Shawshank yourself out of here. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep digging. Now, Shice is probably pronounced Carceri, Carceri, Carceri. I'm probably placing the improper emphasis on the incorrect syllable. I'm pretty sure. Uh, Mike says, question, would the para-elemental planes have representation too? Such as like ooze, smoke, dust, steam? Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't know if we'll get into those. Depends on how popular it is. And listen, there is search engine optimization. And you talk about Planescape. Yeah, people might find the channel as well. So the Tarterian depths of Carceri. I have no choice but to be a pedantic little shit here. See, now they spelled it differently. Tartar. They used an E instead of an A, but there is no pronunciation. Well, as I've said before, pronunciations are, there's no correct pronunciation of anything. It's just consensus. So yeah. The Tartarian. Because they pronounce it Tarterian, Tarter, not Tar, which I wonder why they changed it. Garth says, I've long loved the psychological and philosophical twisted Gordian knot of Planescape. We dropped alignments and just went with the beliefs. Which in this newest version, they did drop the alignment. They dropped the emphasis on alignment and just, instead of stating the alignment, they just stated the belief systems, and it works just the same, right? Also, I like the idea of like, when players are like, oh, I want to be chaotic neutral because I can do anything, and you're like, are you sure? Because a world that way and people that way, would you really want to be in a world that's Literally chaotic neutral. It's like, yeah. Carceri. Third eye use Carceri. Carceri? Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, just going through. I'm trying to catch up here. You got this. Thomas Anderson. Yeah, I can't see or hear little shit without seeing the meme with the tweety looking bird. Listen here, you little shit. Yeah, yeah. DBJ, the consensus on Carceri is from Andrew Wood and Gentleman Gamer. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, from previous uh, uh um iterations, Carceri. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. You could argue over it, but nobody's right. Mike says the world of chaotic neutral is essentially the purge. Nope. Mm-mm-mm. So for me, the reason, like, why would player characters even come here or get dropped here? Now, a great idea would be for the players to just get dropped, right? The classic prison escape. Okay, players get dumped here by an enemy. They get at the end of one adventure, and someone, the big bad, turns the tables on them and activates something or casts a spell, or they've been led into a trap and they get dumped. But I think uh, another desire for us, for a use for having someone go to the gate town of Cursed and then even delving into the depths of Carceri is that someone is trapped down there and they've got to go get them. The players have to pretend to be shackled into the plains of hell to get in, to find some information, to rescue someone, or find something that's been dumped down here, knowing that it's nearly impossible to get out. Now, I think the difference between um, Carceri or Tartarus and say Pandemonium or something is, instead of being beaten into madness, here it's just extremely external. I think this is absolutely every bit of um, Shawshank, the Shawshank Redemption, Escape from Alcatraz, a heist movie, like getting the hell out of here and then mixing it with a lot of arcane magic and having a prison filled with great personalities from tons of humanoid monsters from across the multiverse would be excellent. I mean, this is a great way for those of us that want to be really creative to have, like, you know, I don't know, the classic movie trope of the player characters needing to find allies in a prison, and knowing that when they first arrive, they really can't trust anyone. You always have to have the prison yard bully, the one who is the most intimidating and has the most sycophantic thuggies around them. And then you have to have the other person that happens to be the old guy that knows everything, knows all the pattern shifts from all the guards that move and change. There's also probably a little group over in the corner that's nothing about, hey, listen, we just want to be left alone. We want to read our books, try to hold on to our own sanity by having maybe some kind of a religion or something like that. There's always someone who is a black market, excellent black marketeer, someone who knows how to buy, sell, and trade different items, because gold would, not necessarily be useless, but trading a pack of cigs and candies and things like that, letters from loved ones or something that are brought here. I don't. It doesn't mention any. Of course, it doesn't mention anything being visited by family and friends and such. But a very strange. I suppose someone could find a place to look to the prime material plane where their loved ones are praying for them, even though they've passed on or disappeared or their souls were taken, and they're looking up at their loved ones going like, no, I'm still here, pray for me, please. I can use any magic or something like that. You guys are saying Mike says, why would they go there? Well, to get back a soul taken wrongly, to grab a relic from another plane, to bargain with extraplanar beings. Yep. To handle a warlock patron's demands to grab a material. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That only exists in hell. Of course. Of course. And, being a classic prison, even though, okay, there's a non-Euclidean space when it comes to Planescape. So despite the fact that it's a prison, we still have to accept that there are small communities within this prison of a world, and the gate town of Cursed is our first introduction to that, and there really is a gate to get to um Carceri. I don't know. I like that pronunciation too. To get to Carceri, and the gates actually open. Like unlike the other gates where you have to get like a key or permission or do some funky thing. No, the gate you can just go right into the gate if you want to, but you ain't coming back out. And rumor has it that no one's come back out of it. And so, especially if the player characters gain a lot of information about this place, like you mean like the original Titans, if the Greek gods, if the Greek gods exist in your world, or something similar to it, to Titans of creation or something were buried down here and locked away, that would be pretty interesting. I also think physically, the idea of some of your most dangerous monsters being, having the balls and chain on their foot, being locked away and chained up, or in prisons, and literally an entire plane of like cages and dungeons and real dungeons and such. And of course, the problematic parts of Planescape, which is you're going to have a horrible prison. You're going to have like torture and torturous activities, trying to get the truth out of people. The screams of the guards taking advantage of the people that are in prison down here and hearing their screams behind locked doors and thick stone and such. And yeah, Vince says I have to think of Riddick escaping his prison. Yep, a whole prison planet essentially, and that's how it's described. As a matter of fact, um, Vince says would be kind of neat having some weird meta currency in this plane too, much like a prison culture. I think there would probably be some form of limited barter. Some things worth more than others, including the fact of you know people holding on to hope that one day maybe they might escape. It would be kind of cool. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. That's this is a huge part of the alignment argument. That there's no way to become either be completely good, and most truly evil people wouldn't want to be around a region that's all evil. Like One Eye Heathens responding to Vince saying, as much as I don't like Ayn Rand, that is why she said altruism is evil. I don't think being entirely good is even possible, or that it means to be entirely charitable. And for each person will judge themselves as well as society judging that person. I mean, what does being altruistic even mean when you still have to live? Does that mean sacrificing your life to not eat because yet one more meal you're consuming that you're not giving to somebody else or something like that? So, which you could get into those arguments and all that kind of stuff, but this is a game. So sure, we can have 45 minutes of philosophy, but then we're not rolling dice. So that's why I love Planescape. I love it. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Vince says it highly depends on how you define good. Yep. In my head canon, good means you think more of others than yourself, and evil means you think more of yourself than others. Yeah, exactly. And each of the planes kind of like dictates like, ugh. Like for example, many of the people that are thrown down here into this prison were backstabbers, betrayers, liars, cheats, and when they arrive here, they may still have that, and it's the spiral of the lower planes is that trying to be good and hold on to your humanity in these places is kind of your downfall. And the very the very nature of the planes, to escape them requires you to engage in the evil acts that you're being punished for and brought here in the first place. So, for example, there's very few people you can trust down in Tartarus. They're here, they're imprisoned here for a reason. At least most of the people are. So does that mean you have to go around backstabbing and not trusting other people and taking advantage of them to find a secret or a key or something like that to escape? Sure, but the act of doing that kind of puts you in a spiral to remain here, which is what I love. I love that idea. Like, how do you get out? Mm-mm-mm. TA says, whichever one it was about the office of death in the incarnations of immortality, thus seems like it could have a much broader arc for the game to span. I love the incarnations of immortality, and I remember reading those. I think it was about excising the trauma of having a small child pass away, and I think that's cool. So we're trying to catch up. Shai says, are the Yugoloths the demons of Carceri, or are they the ones in Gehenna? I think they're the ones in Gehenna, if I'm not mistaken. Because as I was reading through this, I didn't see the specific demons of Carceri. Um, I know they changed the title of, they had to change devils, demons, and daemons, and they changed them and made them different categories. And for the life of me, I keep mixing them up in my head. Even after I read it, I'm just like, oh, my brain. I hate it. When I hear this talking like you rarely have lawful generous. But isn't that the goal, right? Just because you can't get something doesn't mean you don't do it. It means it's the the act of trying to achieve perfection is a goal unto itself. Yep. TA goes on to, what if you went full on good and starved to death as a result, but the process causes you to become a god of good alignment on death because of all the good you did leading to your death? I could, um, I would probably presume that the celestial beings on the planes of good probably were individuals that gave of themselves, that sacrificed for of themselves for others. And so, as a matter of fact, I believe it was in the incarnations of death that it was stated that the angels were the souls of dead children or something, and they became the watchers over the adults and things like that. Yeah, that's kind of, I like that idea though. Yep. Vince says that's one of the problems with the alignment system. Everyone has its own definitions. Yep. Well, absolutely. I think that's a feature, not a problem. I think people have a problem because other people, they have a problem with other people's definitions, not their own. Right? It's never yourself. We're all narcissistic in our own way. So we all have issues with other people's definitions, and that's where you have issues. It's not usually not internal. Yep. Mike says, hope. Holy crap, TBJ. Hope as a currency. Ooh. Okay, we're getting a little, getting a very philosophical. I love it. Hope as a currency. To escape, you need to take or be given another's hope, leaving them in despair. There's your dark turn. When someone has enough hope, a portal opens. So how would you? That's great. So um, so imagine I love the dark spiral that is this idea of using hope as a currency, because that means that you have to gain enough hope to leave, which means you're essentially, maybe you have to take it, or it has to be freely given from someone else who knows that they are going to be imprisoned even further. If they give up all hope, they're not going. They're going to be stuck here. So now someone else has the hope to leave, which means that when they leave, they know they are literally leaving somebody else to be imprisoned down here. But does that make them a good person if you take somebody else's hope to get out of here? And if you take it, is that really being a good person? Maybe it becomes a spiral where they end up coming back again. Maybe giving away your hope is strangely enough a backdoor way to get out, because down in Tartarus, they're like, damn it, they're doing a good thing. Oh, we can't let them get away with it. Here, throw them a problem so that they give up of themselves, that they do something evil and stay here. uh, which is a problem when people go to prison, right? Like, they end up getting, they get into the prison um, social dynamic and go down a spiral of having to be violent and being liars and cheats and things like that. So yeah, hope is a currency. Yeah, you need to take it or be given another's hope, leaving them in despair. I love it. Which also, I could see that becoming a variation on the warlock, cleric slash warlock promise. Like, could you imagine leaving Tartarus knowing that someone or a group of people gave you their hope so you could escape, and now your character is a warlock patron of the hope that was given to you from the escape in the first place, and now your patron essentially are the people you have to go back and your patron isn't a person. Your patron is a promise to go back to those people, because from now on you can't leave it alone. It's bothering you. Like, it's like, oh, I can't sleep. I gotta go get them. Yeah, I love it. I love that a lot. Yeah, that's so cool. I love that so much. Maybe even hope actually turns into a physical thing. Like, it's literally like holding on to hope is a you're holding on to a little something in your hand, that it's not just a coin you find, but it's something that someone creates, maybe in their sleep or meditative dreaming, or they're off to themselves crying and rocking back and forth, like, asking forgiveness for their sins, and all of a sudden in the palm of their hand there's like a little bit of hope, and everyone's can kind of like smell it, like, ooh, what is that? What? Hey, how you doing? As a person tries to hide it in their clothing or something, like, hey, I see you've been off here by yourself. What's going on? TA says, personally, being so demanding to help others, I can see as being evil. Just imagine a government that is completely authoritarian, and the people who set it up did it and try to help people, but is just completely removing all ability to make any decisions as a people individually. Hell yeah. That's a thing too, and that's actually part of Planescape. As a matter of fact, there's a faction dedicated to that too, where it's like, oh no, we're here to help goodness, despite your protestations against such a thing. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Shai says, okay, so the Yugoloths are Gehenna. So who are going to encounter? So who are you going to encounter in Carceri? Do they have rulers at all? Sorry, it's been 10 years. I ain't got my Carceri brain cells aboard. You know what? Reading it, because let me see if I can pull. Okay, original Planescape book, bam. All right, fifth edition Planescape book, bam. Right now, in here they don't talk about that at all, and I have a feeling, because this is a Tartarus is between the chaotic evil and neutral evil, and that sliver in between is a prison. It comes across as this plane isn't ruled by. If you're a fiend and you send another fiend somewhere, where do you send them to? Well, here you send them here. So it's not that there are demons and fiends and stuff that are home here. It's more like everything else gets dumped here and can't leave. So if you're in the nine hells and you want to get rid of your enemies and you know you can't destroy them, but you need to imprison them, that this is the place you send them to. So what I gather is, let's take all of our tropes, media tropes about prison, and that you would have gangs of demons, gangs of fiends, gangs of slotty, gangs of, hell, there would be celestials that broke bad during the blood wars fighting against evil. They'd be trapped down here. There would be wizards that were trying to delve into the lower planes and tried to summon a demon and effed it up, and then decide end up getting pushed, their rear ends getting pushed down here as well. I think all of that would be here. And what kind of strange bedfellows would that make, right? You get a pit fiend and a succubus or two, plus a few Yugoloths and such, and maybe a Rakshasa, wheeler and dealer, and maybe they're all together, and the PCs have to navigate them and get some great personalities. I love it. One Heathen says that's a good point, DBJ. That the attempt at reaching a perfection might also be seen at the far end of the good aligned spectrum, right? Like I feel like sometimes we're looking at the end of the equation. Well, what's 1 + 1? Well, we got to get to 2. Whereas for me, I'm like, the journey is getting 1 + 1. It is, the journey might be that there is no perfection, but the person is judged based on their desire to reach the perfection rather than achieving it, and we love humanistic stories that are based around the journey of a person. Someone who very easily climbs a mountain is just one thing, but somebody else who's like, you know what, I lost my leg and I don't have any money and I'm trying to do this on my own, and blah, blah, blah. And we're just like, oh, the struggle story. We love that, and we oftentimes the reaching for perfection is also based on the limitations that the person has themselves. How much weight is put on their shoulders for them to even walk forward versus the perfect person who's got perfect mobility, right? And that's on the physical scale. And then we think about this psychologically too. Vince says, could the people in this plane be used as cheap labor? Hell yeah. Like in Shawshank Redemption, where they are basically used to get the prison head rich. I would absolutely agree with that. I would even say there are probably a lot of promises by the guards here, who are like, you know what, if you tell me the secrets of the blood war, just give me one more secret. I'll see if I can figure out a way for you to move up. Hell, maybe even the guards here are individuals who could never leave. But could you imagine one of the prisoners moving up, snitching on everybody else and moving up the ranks, and eventually they're so brutal to the other prisoners that one day they get a guard's uniform in a billy club. Maybe it might be made out of hellfire and whatnot with spikes on the end of it and such. But whatever, they get themselves a shock stick and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna beat everybody else's ass since they treated me so bad. Yeah, I would love to have like a halfling prison guard down here who's all small compared to everybody else, but is like a badass, has lots of power, and everyone's like, oh, you better watch out. Who's that? Wendy Olive Garden. You better watch out for her. I know I'm far behind, trying to catch up with you guys. Shai says, after all, there is no getting out of Carceri. Tartarus is a bottomless pit, right? Gehenna's the one you get out of because it's a mountain. You can climb to the top of it, right? Yes, the way, let's see if we can find this here. Okay, so the Tartarian depths of Carceri is also known as the Red Prison, or as the Prison of the Multiverse. This plane is nestled between the abyss and the gray wastes of Hades. Those that arrive on this plane are often sentenced to this plane to an afterlife of misery and pain. 6 layers make up this plane, though anyone who travels to this plane can be forgiven for thinking that there are hundreds of layers. Upon arrival on this plane, the dull red glow of this plane reveals hundreds of orbs like pearls on a necklace stretching off into the distance only 100 miles above. Instead, the layers of this plane are down inside of each of the more likely infinite number of planets that make up this plane. As you travel to the lowest points of a planet, you can access a conduit that sends you to the next lower down. Arriving on the lower layer, you find yourself standing on the highest point of the next layer of a smaller planet with the sky full of planets. But further away, as you continue moving down, the light grows fainter the planets smaller, the temperature plummets, the distance between the planets becomes astronomical. And the 6 layers of this plane are Orth, Orthris, Carthri. Let me. I'm butchering this. Let me go back. Orthris, Cathris, Menethus, Colothus, Porphatus, and Agathis. Ooh. So the concept is that you don't escape up and out, you actually delve deeper in. So while you're on the prison, you're actually digging, finding passages that go deeper and deeper. And when you get to the lowest point, you end up at the highest point of the next lower plane and then have to find your way down deeper. So it's pretty nasty because the entire time you're going down further, you realize you're going that much further away from the doorway for your escape. You're literally going down deeper and deeper, and the things you have to do to go down deeper and deeper makes it even worse. Um, Outsiders who arrive in Carceri venture into a plane of reddish tinge as if they are viewing the plane through blood-stained glasses. The plane is a prison, and outsiders who arrive here rarely make friends with those who are stuck here. Portals that lead out of this place are guarded heavily by fiends, petitioners, and even the powers trapped on this plane. Those who spend just a few days here begin cycling into a state of despair. The longer they stay here, the stronger it holds on to them. If you choose to travel to Carceri, travelers should always have a way out. Though if it involves dealing with anyone on this plane, they should double think, double think coming here. Any deal someone makes, especially if they are an outsider, will rarely, if ever, be seen through honestly. The people of this plane just can't be straightforward or honest. The plane breeds despair, double crossing, and hatred for all, including yourself. So it would be pretty. I think another system on it. Ooh, I'm so far behind. I'm sorry, guys. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, trying to catch up. Move the chat here next to you guys. I have a combined chat, and so what ends up happening is it's kind of narrow, and I can't expand it. So if you type a lot of words, it just extends it on out, and it just pushes it down really far. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna have to get to slick down to the bottom. Mm. All right, here we go. All right, so I had to catch up. Now, one, I think another great part of this being a prison plane is that, um, strangely enough, I could see the denizens of the lower planes, um, even offering up their own guardians to keep the plane in existence so that the prison plane can exist in the first place, right? So it's almost like a community event. It is something, strangely enough to say, maybe evil decided to build or keep this plane of existence open in the first place as a um they all give taxes basically, for this place. It could also be a place for a lot of the evil denizens when they don't have time during the blood wars that happen between each other, that they shove all of their prisoners here to be kept for them to come back later to go get them, to interrogate them, use them as in their service industry for slavery and indentured servitude and that kind of thing. So this could also be a dumping ground for for them to come back later, right? It's like, okay, we don't have time. Take the adventurers, shove them in the Tartarus, leave them there, and we'll come back and get them. Um, the gate town of Cursed, as was mentioned before about being part of the neutral plane and being on the outskirts of Tartarus itself, means that there's something about it that isn't quite chaotic evil or neutral evil. Maybe it has something else. For example, there's something known as the Trader's Gate, and it's really, since you're not literally in Tartarus, you're just in the gate town. There are actually people here who are I guess if you had to give it a mechanical effect, they are of a good alignment, or they're evil people who want to change their ways, and they are assembling together as a rebellious force to figure out how to get out of here. And many of them have come to terms with the things they've done in their life. They want to be repentant. They want to escape to make amends for the people that they wronged in life and such. And these people exist. Now, how much of them exist down in the lower planes of this prison, I don't know. But especially at the gate town, not only do they exist, there's a reason why CURST is in has intruded itself into concordant opposition, and it's because of this. And I could see there being agents who are trying to crush the rebellion so that the gate town of CURST doesn't exist, so it gets pulled back into Tartarus, so no one can get to it. Like, maybe this is the one sliver of hope where you could possibly get out if you can find these people, or again using the concept of hope being a form of a monetary transaction. I could see that being the case, and the people who run Tartarus are like, we got to crush this now, because if we let this happen and people think that they can really get out, and they do, ooh. TA says, I want to know of ways you could accidentally get sent, like I said, where death was overwhelmed and made mistakes sending good souls to hell and bad to heaven. I could see there being mistakes, especially, listen, we this is fantasy, and we don't assume the gods and demigods are perfect. Actually, as a matter of fact, we embrace the concept that they aren't. And hey, listen, you PC, you darn neutral evil PC, you and all your friends are getting sent here, right? It might just be what's the term? Nuke them all and let God figure them out. This could be a thing, right? Where some of the deities or powers that be, a warlock patron goes, yeah, hey warlock, you and all your friends, all of you are getting sent here, and the paladin's like, why am I getting sent? I didn't do anything. You're like, yeah, whatever, we'll figure it out later. Oh, Mike, hey, what's going on? Gotta go see again. It'll be back when I get a chance. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I could see getting sent here simply due to um what's the worst thing is to be ignored. Avarice, just basically like, nah, we don't care. You'll figure it out, right? Hey, you're a good guy. You'll figure it out. You're neutral good there, young lady. You'll get out. Whatever. It'll be good for your soul. I could see something else as well. It could be a test of sorts. What if some of the celestials, the angels themselves, the celestial beings, what if some of them are being recruited from the lower planes, being risen up? We're going to send you here, and if you escape, you're going to be you're being tested to be risen to one of the highest levels in the planes of good, if you can get out. Which we often hear of fallen angels. We don't really hear too much of risen demons and devils, and Yugoloths and Beators and things like that. Not Beators. Hesboro, or fuck, I can't remember. Slotty or something like that. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. He says, I'm not against trying new things. I'm just a pessimist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Try to catch up. Moving. When I Heathen says, I can see where the wars would get so out of hand, those ushering the souls to their final resting place get overwhelmed and start making mistakes. Maybe the PCs are commissioned to help fix mistakes. I love that idea too. I mean, again, Planescape, the Lady of Pain, sends her emissaries, the Lady of Pain just floating in the distance, kind of half watching, half ignoring the PCs, and their agents are telling the player characters, like, we need your help to go down and sort out the souls. Could you imagine like a giant portal with thousands of souls just being dumped like trash down into the lower planes? Literally the souls are being dumped like garbage, and they're like falling into random places in the lower planes, and the PCs are like, what the like, it's just a giant portal, and just people like slow motion screaming and falling and smashing against the walls of Tartarus. They're falling into the nine hells. They're falling into the abyss, and the Lady of Pain just waves her hand and makes the image disappear, and the PCs are like, scrambling at their brains, like, what the fuck? Yeah, hey, we need you to go down there and get some of those people and get them to the proper place, if you don't mind. Like, wow. And of course you could have an ephemeral key, something that's inside the PCs that can kind of even reach inside their own souls and pull something out and give them a medallion, and the person's like, thank you so much, and then they rise up, and the evil beings down there are like, raising their fists at the people in the upper planes. I could see the player characters being commissioned to go down there. Now here's a strange oddity. What if there's some Imagine a good person goes down there, players go down to get their soul, and that good person is like, no, I'm staying. I've been able to if I can a goodly person is trapped down there and says, if I can get two souls to rise up, my soul's worth it for me being down here. And I've risen 15 souls, and my job's not done. I've got eternity to be down here. And the PCs are like, but they're still dumping more souls and stuff. And it's like, well, this is my life's work. Don't take me back up there. That would be pretty interesting as well. Like, maybe it comes across that there's like probably 10 to 100 fiends per celestial. Maybe this is how the celestials are able to win. The goodly people are able to win because they have so many agents down in the lower planes that are doing things like that, that they are essentially the special forces of the fantasy world, going down, infiltrating, convincing, getting some of the evil people to turn the tables just a little bit, to give them a little bit of hope or grace or forgiveness. And those dark powers down below are being like, their personalities are being twisted to do, like, do you really want to be down here in Tartarus watching over the evil people? Like, you maybe you should think about leaving your position here, because you know you've gotten given me a lot of grace, and the only thing I can do back for you is to show you mercy as well. And the demon's just like, what? Like, mercy? I've been merciful. Am I being merciful? No, 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 no. Is this a possibility for me to escape? And then all of a sudden, the good person disappears around the corner, and they're sitting there for weeks going like, is there a spark of hope? I remember my whole life now. Yeah, when I he says, ooh, maybe the celestial realms just can't take all the souls that are petitioning. So they send them away, and they become prey for demons. The demons don't care. They just want new souls. Not, hey, I've been in line for 5 weeks. Hey, you, and they're at the pearly gates, and they're like, you back there, shut up, keep it down. And the person in the back of the line is like, man, you know what? I'm not sticking around for all this. I was a good person when I was alive. This is stupid. I'm leaving. And they've got like someone's standing in line. It's like, psst, hey, I know I'm over your shoulder, but listen, there's a great place. They've got great food. And I know how you were with the ladies back in the day. Yeah, you could come with me. Yeah, I like that. I love that so much. Oh man. Said had nothing interesting to say, but now I think about the great TV show, The Good Place. Yes, the basic premise that the show could be used here. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right there, Drew. So because I know this isn't quite in your wheelhouse here, Drew, but to be honest with you, solving Planescape is a setting where beating things with about the head and shoulders really isn't going to solve your problem. I mean, it could, but it does a disservice to what it's about. Meaning, like, us having this conversation about good and evil, and being punished, and doing evil things to leave because you want to do good things. Does that make you evil or good? And escaping and blah blah blah. A lot of Planescape is about the conundrum of dealing with this spiral of trying to do the good thing, but you haven't doing bad things for a good reason, good things that cause bad things to happen. And The Good Place is a very good show. With spoiler alert for everyone who doesn't know, and it doesn't change the actual quality of the show. Evil person gets sent to the good place. Come to find out, the good place isn't good at all. It's actually evil, and and they're all living out their own punishments. And so it could be possible that there are these places down here in Tartarus that look like utopias. They're great, right? And keep looking up at the sky and like, why does the sky look strange? And it was like, ignore that, ignore that. Hey, you're getting foot rubs and 16 layer chocolate cake down here and all that kind of stuff. Ignore all the people being tortured around the corner. This is for you. Get comfortable down here. And then all of a sudden it's like they hey, listen, all those gifts I gave you, you owe me now. So I like the idea of elements of the lower planes not looking and appearing and coming across the way we think they are. Like, it doesn't have to be gouts of, yes, it is described, some of the lower planes are described as gouts of flame, pools of acid, smoke, demons with pitchforks shoving people back down in the flaming pit. Sure, there's a lot of that, but there's also the idea of deceptions and think our lives feeling perfect at the cost of expending someone else's life. And I like that. Being in a prison of your own turmoil, or being in a prison of your own decadence, even, you know. Yep, made sections of hell into heaven for the souls that accidentally ended up in hell. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we have nowhere to put them. We need to hold them somewhere so they can just run around causing mischief or winding up in a worse place. Tartarus it is. Yeah. Yeah. Heck, maybe someone doesn't realize this, but what if Tartarus being what if the Celestials annex a section of Tartarus off for their own use, and the other demons and devils in the lower planes just find this out, and they're going to want to siege the place, and the Celestials are like, we were trying to do the right thing, and the Guardians down in Tartarus actually worked with us this time, but now everyone found out about it, and so they're going to come and crush it. We need the PCs to go down there, open the portal up, send them back up to the greater planes or something. We'll feel what we can do for them there. And what if the good people were down in Tartarus like, F you, we ain't coming up to the good planes. Look what you did to us. We lived our lives perfectly. And what did you do to us? You sent us down here in a waiting cell, knowing that there's like death and destruction and torture going on around us. F you. Yeah, maybe celestial realms, in order to prevent good souls from going to the hells, try to entrap people into doing bad, to keep heaven from getting overpopulated. Yeah. Oh wow, just like reality for many people versus the others who are doing the suffering. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Mm-mm-mm. Trying to see if some of you other guys here. Oh man, your petition is due. Your petition is due, but there's no time for it, so there's nowhere for you to go but the bottomless pit. Ooh, shit. Mm-mm. Oh wow, yeah, like the cool summers of the USA and Canada, yeah, due to the storms in the tropics that killed many. So be grateful for the nice weather, because many sacrifice their lives in the tropics for that good weather. Now, is it that direct? You could say no, because the weather's going to be there whether people were there or not. But maybe helping them out, making sure that they don't suffer is the problem. And of course, listen, like the Lady of Pain, there are many other entities out there whose motivations we don't understand. The Modrons, the Great Modron March, and that idea, the Modrons could be shifting around the multiverse and moving people from place to place on purpose and leaving them there with no explanation. And the PCs are like, well, wait a minute, what the hell is this about? Why did we get left here? And the Modrons are like, click, 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 lock the door behind you. They leave. The Tarterian guards are like, oh, well, hey, just because they left you, maybe there's a reason why he left here, because you're going to get punished for it. He says, "Hey, gotta go now. Switch on my phone. Can you tell how happy and relieved I am? Y'all have a great night. Thanks for the great show and great company." Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it too, because sometimes I get stuck and I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like a little nervous, like, what the fuck are we gonna talk about? Also, um, the there are a number of mythological and fantasy creatures. I'm looking at you, Tarask. I'm looking at you, Titans from the Greek gods that have been imprisoned down in Tartarus. There are things that unmentionable things probably down in Carceri that should not be released, but the player characters might be out to sabotage the lower planes. What would a demonic Taraskian creature be like that gets released and starts wrecking havoc, escapes this prison and starts running amok through the lower planes or something? So it could, another mission could be, we need to go down there and release an evil the likes of which have never been released before, for the sole purpose of uniting maybe the goodly people. Maybe the goodly people are arguing amongst each other. How should we do it? Maybe we shouldn't. Should we use their tactics? No, we shouldn't. They're getting away with things. Yes, but they have freedom. There's a possibility that every dark soul down in the lower planes could be forgiven. There's still a spark of humanity left in them. And the other goodly people are like, nope, any good demon's a dead demon, whatever. And that argument, and PCs are like, don't. Maybe we can organize everyone together by having one enemy. And maybe there are dead gods that are left down here, trapped, their souls, just a little spark of life left in them. And a warlock cult has been worshiping them on the prime material plane and giving them just enough life. And the PCs are like, we don't like the evil cult, but we also don't like the demons and the devils coming at both of us at the same time. Let's release this great being. Now, it could be, here's another strange thing. What if it's a goodly creature that was down here, so powerful, so much more powerful than the goodly beings from in the upper planes, and it was imprisoned down here? Maybe an angel sacrificed themselves to imprison it down here, because they were too powerful. It was pride and ambition from the people in the upper planes that caused them to fall down here, and they control the lower planes, knowing that they fell from grace to take out a goodly being, a god figure, godhead of sorts, that is imprisoned down in Tartarus. And they know if it escapes, it'll come for their souls. And the evil beings are like, shh, don't say anything. I know we did this millennium ago. Yeah. But anyway, it would be kind of cool. So anyway, this is our limited talk about CURST and the gate town leading into Tartarus and this prison, coming here maybe with a train ticket and getting here and not knowing how to get out, and the mission of the player characters to get out. Maybe one or more player characters have passed away and they died, and they're on a mission to go get them out of this place. I don't know how many friends you'd have if your character is between chaotic evil and neutral evil in alignment, and how you're portraying them. I don't know how many friends you'd have, but you never know. Maybe somebody just needs you for a mission or something. The other player characters are like, look, none of us like you at all anyway, but we need to get you out of here because you have some great secrets. And that may be the case as well. Trying to visit their friend who's got they're like, what's your prisoner number? And they look down and it's pi. It's 3.14. Ooh, the numbers keep going around my outfit. Ooh. Train ticket to CURST. That's going straight to in the song. Thanks. Yeah, instead of highway to hell's train ticket to CURST. That's awesome. Yeah. So again, we're going to go through a number of the lower planes. We're near Halloween. We got to do all this stuff. Just like the background here, I got skeletons and stuff like that. We've got all kinds of new stuff that they put out here in my restream, which is really kind of cool as well. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Everyone have a great one. We're going to talk about PLANESCAPE and reasons to use it, and a philosophy and all that good stuff. So guys, have a great one. Drew, who's that? Getting out is easy. Just use your multipass. Yeah. Go up and down the multipass. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Everyone have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.